In the new 40k novel Ghost Legion by Mike Brooks, we learn one of the leaders of the Legion, Solomon Akurra, is after a combined Xenos and Dark Age device called the Pillar of Dreams. We will discuss this in the course of the video, make connections to other Dark Age lore, and speculate on what it all means. So, spoilers for the novel from here, and welcome friends to another 40k video, and it's great to be back recording some more audio for you. Shall we begin? So what is the Pillar of Dreams? It's an Eldari Dark Age pillar guided by an abominable intelligence. It's discussed in this first excerpt. A mind has to be connected to the pillar in order for the divination to occur. Nero said, matter-of-factly. Of course there are Eldari minds inside, very different to yours or mine. They have had millennia of scrying the warp for hints of the future, which is what makes the pillar such a potent tool, but a human mind can't cope with looking into the warp like that. All the documented evidence I could find of this device suggests that using it will drive the user into insanity within moments, rendering whatever answers they may have received useless. Nero adds a navigator to the device, where once before perhaps there was just an Eldari, or a Dark Age psyker in the past. The soul in it could be a play on the tech used in the Eldari craft worlds, where souls can be stored after death in the infinity circuits. Cheta in this novel is the navigator's name, and in there she discovers something else is there with her. She sees things through her mind, or not her eye within the machine, and there is something else. She scried what was there and felt the strongest pull when she had a goal. In the machine there is a thing with her. It radiated malevolence. It was unnatural even in the warp, because the warp was as natural as the material world, so long as it stayed there. This thing, this entity that was herding the flock of minds, ancient things once powerful, but now cowed and broken, was not truly of real space or the warp. It was the Pillar of Dreams, and it was an abominable intelligence. The mind flock shrieked in pain, a chorus of high, tortured voices that were not human. Then words spilled from her, a language she could not speak. I assume Eldari. The device is made from wraithbone, an Eldari material that can be used as a pathway for psychic communication, which fits its role here. The pillar had AI placed inside it to coerce the spirits. Solomon finds the device much later in the novel and tries to speak with the navigator. He says, how can I, Solomon Akurra, destroy the Imperium? And he has thought of this specific wording for a long time. One could destroy the Imperium by annihilating every world it claimed as its own. One could destroy the Imperium by conquering terror and snuffing out the last sparks of life from the corpse occupying the Golden Throne. Those options were beyond his capabilities. He needed to know how he could destroy the Imperium. He simply had to trust that the pillar had sufficient grasp of who he was and what skeins of the future he could manipulate in order to give him a workable answer. The navigator began to talk. We're not told what she said, but later Solomon speaks to his sorceress, Chalava. Asked, did he get an answer? Solomon blinked. The knowledge was there, lurking in his mind. It was a strange sensation, as though something foreign had been inserted, but not a concerning one. It was his knowledge, and although it would take him some contemplation to completely interpret it, he knew that full understanding would come. For now he had bits and pieces, the surface impressions of a work of art, when a much closer examination was needed to truly appreciate the full picture. I have enough, he replied. We need a swift end to lava. We need to strike them a blow so hard and so dire that they cannot recover. Not just rebuff their attempts to destroy us. We need not just to persuade their citizens that we offer them something better, but persuade our so-called allies that we are destined to triumph. Otherwise they will turn on us out of uncertainty, as some have tried to hear. Talava sighed. And the answer you received will allow you to do this? It will, Solomon said. Once I have had enough time to reflect upon it and study it. Yes, it will, I am certain of it. He spoke into the Vox. This is Akurra. I want Lucretia Mons under our control within the hour. Prioritize finding and protecting the Diabolicus Secundus. Why in the name of all the gods are you so bothered about that collection of circuits? Tulliver asked, raising a wary eyebrow at him. Because I owe it a favour, Solomon said, cutting the link, and I may need it for what is to come. If I do, I want it to be in no doubt as to who is responsible for its survival. Tulliver then said, lead on, Harrow Master. So let's analyse all that. First, what is the Diabolicus Secundus? For those of you who haven't read the first two novels, it's an AI made by a Mechanicus Magos who has been exiled and works with the Alpha Legion. So why might akurra want its help after the info of the pillar has been shared with it? Or with him, sorry. Purely my speculation, but could the Alpha Legion in some way be intending to use AI as a vulnerability within the Imperium to help their own cause? It would be a valuable play for them, a vulnerability for the Imperium, depending on the strength of the AI. For example, the Aurak Myriad, example from within the Acts of Omen books, could easily hide from an Inquisitor inside a Cogitator, and could predict the location and generate an ambush for the Dark Angel's base, the Rock. Now imagine that in the hands of the Alpha Legion. They could cause a lot of trouble for the Imperium. Then we have this AI in the pillar where it says, this entity was herding the flocks of minds, ancient things, once powerful but now cowed and broken, not truly of real space or the warp. Now an AI interacting with the warp or psychers seems a bit out there, right? Well, if this is Dark Age tech and AI, we have an example called the Tabula Myriad, an AI which plans to help the Mechanicus take back Mars after Horus has taken it from them. And it also can do that, as well as being able to do this, undo warp corruption. So if a Dark Age ship could do that, or a Dark Age machine, could do that, would interacting with Eldari minds be such a stretch? It shows Dark Age AI was at least capable of interacting with the warp to reverse its damage and communicate with beings from there in this example. There is a similar example to this in a Warhammer, I think it was a crime book, I'm just remembering off the top of my head rather than having the quote to hand, I'm afraid. A Dark Age leisure ship was allowed to come through to the Imperium in M40, and for reasons that I won't go into here, it wanted to keep the crew of the ship calm, so it vivisected a psyker and came up with a way to clone that psyker over and over again and bind that power to the machinery of the ship. The psyker being the one that was used to soothe the mind of the crew, and after the body had been worn out, it would replace it with a clone. That shows similar abilities, a psyker being linked to a machine, and their abilities being used by the machine for different reasons to calm people here. The other part I'd like to speculate on is the 40k novel Gene Father, and that link, where there is a place of greeting for both Dark Age humanity and the Eldari Empire of that time, and somewhere they could talk and meet. Now that's a collaboration possibly echoed here, with the parts of the machine, part being Wraithbone and part being a abominable intelligence. Now my assumption here is that the AI is from the Dark Age of technology rather than being made later by some sort of renegade Mechanicus group, but that's my speculation. We of course have to make assumptions that Dark Age humanity, as I said, bolted on the AI onto the Wraithbone so it could wind up those poor Eldari souls being herded around and used as farseers. So that's my final thought. So let me know your thoughts below. Apologies if the audio is not great in terms of my delivery. I've been a little bit rusty after not doing this for a couple of weeks. It always takes me a while to get back into the flow, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's great to be back recording some audio for some videos, and I have a couple more in the works. Just bear with me here as I bring up my desktop. I have this video, another video probably on the Dark Age of technology that I need to go into the quotes and make sure I'm not just repeating myself as I have done a few times on the channel. Then I have a Trinity Crusade video on the Sniper Priest, and we had a big lore drop on the fall of Egypt. It was done in 2 parts, and I really want to analyse that and read through it a few more times before I do a video on it. So this will be the next video put out by me, and the follow-up video will likely be on Trinity Crusade on the Wednesday afterwards, where we'll cover the lore for the Sniper Priest, and the fall of Egypt will follow shortly from that. So thank you for listening to the end, and have a wonderful day.